No, I've got a few questions around that, so I wouldn't be quite sure. Okay, implementation, so piloting, the project management. I would say that's probably maybe a 2. Yeah. I think you always need to pilot. Gradual implementation is probably about a 3. Specific training. It's probably a 4 or 5. Let's go with a 5.
5?
Yeah.
There's only a few more left.
My brain's now starting to work. Oh, 5.
5, yeah.
Mm-hmm. 5. Sorry. 1.
1.
3.
3.
Four.
Last one.
Doctor accountability. Go with the 3.
3. Thank you. Right, so last question on the framework.
Yeah.
Put that aside.
Okay.
So if you just look at the 6 themes now,
Yeah.
in what order would you tackle them if you were looking to embed project management practices? Again, there's no right or wrong answer. You might not necessarily do them all sequentially.
Okay. Right. That's a very good question. I would probably do inner context first.
Yep.
External stakeholder requirement. Probably the outer context.
Yep.
And then a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Communication and influence.
Mm-hmm.
Implementation.
Thank you.
Modernisation.
Thank you. Right. What do you think of the framework?
Possibly a little bit worded.
It's an academic.
I mean, it seems quite standard. It looks at the stakeholders. It looks at who's being impacted, and then communication, how you implement, and then continual routine maintenance, basically.
Do you think it's helpful, or?
It would be, yeah. I mean, if you were
back 4 or 5 years ago,
yeah, it would be
quite helpful.
It would be helpful because it would easily put out the steps that you could follow.
Do you think it could be applied in the wealth management context?
Yeah, I think you could easily take certain sections that would, depending on the company in the wealth management area, that you would take certain sections and apply.
So is there any that you would give more weight to then in this context?
So in this context,
any themes or factors?
Stakeholders, definitely.
So is that comms and influence?
Yeah.
Or the stakeholder involvement?
Yeah, stakeholder involvement. A doctor, so people doing it.
Do you think there's anything missing?
it's not looking at the specifics, it's looking at overall view. It's got the outer context. Can't think of anything that is missing specifically at the moment.
Okay, so
no,
that's
no,
fine.
it's fine.
Right, moving on to the last section now.
Yeah.
So we're doing really well. Which is section 5, professionalising project management practices. So, do you think project management is viewed as a profession in your organisation? And why not, just to be specific, so you're an asset manager, fund manager walks through the door, they've probably got CFA, they've run a fund elsewhere, they're viewed with a certain level of respect.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
If a PM walks through the door, are they automatically given that same level of respect? As a fund manager or an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor?
Possibly not as weighted in respect, but there is respect against the profession. It's probably just not as.
Why do you say not as high? Why do you think that is?
Probably because of the qualifications. To be a lawyer or finance, I think you're probably more highly qualified. Possibly not, but yeah, I think there's a difference.
And how do you define a professional project manager?
Professional project manager, probably more on the experience than qualifications, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's fine. You've answered my question. My next question.
Preempted.
And do you have a career path for project managers here? Like, is there a diagram that says you start off as this and you can work your way up as this?
No, not really, because it's more of a flat structure here. So I think it's just, I think you'd just be more of a junior and then a project manager. I don't think there's much of a career ladder.
Yeah. In that case, do you have project management competencies written down that are expected?
I think they're probably in the yearly objectives more than actual competencies for.
That's fine.
For those, it might be in the project management role.
Are there any project management exams that are stipulated or recommended?
Not really, no.
That's fine. And do you or the team have any project management affiliations? So members of any institutes like the Association of Project Management or PMI?
No, I don't think there is, no.
You've answered that question for me.
Sorry.
What do you see as the core competencies for a project manager? So if you were hiring one, what are you looking for?
So what would we do? So it would start obviously with experience, but I think you would look. That's a really good question actually, because PMO isn't really a slightly different role to project management.
It is, but I mean, just your view.
What would I
you've
look
seen
for,
people here hire PMs. So if you were doing it for them, they delegated it to you. What would you be looking for? And you said you've done it yourself, haven't you? So
yeah. So one of the key competencies is being organised, proactive, confident. I think is the other one. That could be confidence in different manners of being able to run meetings, understanding project management framework as a general.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything else.
That's fine. Do you use a project management methodology here?
We have our own methodology.
Is it based on anything? Or?
It's not necessarily based on anything. It's just a typical waterfall methodology.
Thank you. What do you consider to be the factors for professionalising PM practice? And I guess if I'd go back to my earlier example of fund manager walks through the door, what do you think needs to happen for a project manager to walk through the